PBS has suspended Tavis Smiley's talk show after an outside law firm found what it called multiple and credible allegations of misconduct. Variety reports that Smiley had sexual relationships with a number of subordinates who were worried that their job status was tied to these relationships and expressed concern about retaliation. But Smiley is strongly disputing the findings.
It is clear that this has gone too far, and I, for one, intend to fight back. PBS overreacted, and they launched a sloppy investigation.
Joining us now from New York is Lynn Sher, former correspondent for ABC News. So Tavis Smiley, I think, is the first major TV figure to fight back in one of these cases. He's saying he had a consensual relationship, at least in one case. PBS won't give him the name of the accusers. Without PBS providing the details, how are we supposed to judge whether there's a big problem here?
They're going to have to release the details at some point, and certainly anybody who is accused has the right to find out. We need to differentiate, Howie. This drip, 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 which is now a flood, the only way we can avoid drowning in it is to differentiate, find out the facts, differentiate between something that destroys a woman's career and something that just makes her want to go take a shower alone. There's a difference between these things, and we need to find it out. And I think what Tavis Smiley is getting, I know nothing about his case. I do know that when he says we need to start the conversation, that's the point. We're never going to ban sex in the workplace, although I have a feeling there'll be a lot less mistletoe at holiday parties this year, which might be a good thing. Yeah. But we need to determine the boundaries. We need to have a way to say to each other what's right, what works, what's okay, and what's not okay.
Right. Similar questions are being raised about the New Yorker magazine firing Ryan Lizza, who'd been the Washington correspondent for a decade. He's also a CNN contributor. Network's reviewing his case. And in that case, the New Yorker is saying that he engaged in improper sexual misconduct, but not saying exactly what it is. Now, Ryan Lizza may be best known for reporting on that raunchy, off-the-record, or he supposedly, he says it was on the record, excuse me, conversation with Anthony Scaramucci, which cost him his job at the White House. Let's take a brief look at that.
I named it Insane Scaramucci Interview because it was just so completely unlike any on-the-record conversation I'd had with a spokesman for the White House.
And then let me read you Ryan Lizza's comments. I'm dismayed that the New Yorker has decided to characterize a respectful relationship with a woman I dated as somehow inappropriate. But the woman hired a lawyer to complain. And again, we don't know the details, and it goes to your point about how do you differentiate among these cases.
Well, this is what a lot of people are now talking about, because there is some concern that there's backlash. There is some concern that everything gets lumped together, and it shouldn't be. My friend Alan Alda, the great actor, of course, who's been a great supporter of women's rights for many decades, said to me the other night, what we should do is have a safe word, one phrase that is universally recognized as something that means you can't do it anymore. Now, I think the word stop is fine. I think the word no is fine. I think Hillary Clinton's book where she said, back up, you creep, was a perfectly good idea. But if those are too subtle, what Alan Alda suggests is something like, that's not okay. Make that a universally accepted quick phrase that even bystanders can use if they see something going on. There have to be lines drawn. Women should not have to bear the onus of this. We should not have to police it, but something has to be done.
And finally, let me ask you about what I thought was a very moving piece by actress Salma Hayek in the New York Times about Harvey Weinstein. Obviously, we've heard many allegations about the movie mogul. And she says, you know, he asked her for sex, asked to watch her take a shower, accept a massage, and all that, and had bullied her, and even said at one point, I could kill you or I will kill you. But in this piece, she says also that he pushed her into doing a nude scene with another actress, Ashley Judd. She had a nervous breakdown. But really the question here is, she says she was too much of a coward to come forward before this against what she calls this monster. Your brief thoughts.
Howie, I've got two reactions to that. One is when I read that really gut-wrenching piece by Salma Hayek, I remembered when I was the sexual harassment ombudsperson at ABC News back in the 80s, young women would come to me trembling. I felt their trembling when I read that piece. This is a horrifying thing for women to go through. And back then, these women were way too frightened to even bump it up to the next level, let alone publish it in the New York Times.
And of course, Salma Hayek was an unknown actress at the time that a lot of this took place, not the big star that she is today. We got to leave it there. Lynn Sherr, thanks very much for becoming our correspondent on these matters. Thanks for joining us. Nice to talk to you.
Thanks, Howie.
After the break, I talked to Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks about playing Katharine Graham and Ben Bradley in the film about the huge risk of publishing secret Pentagon documents.
Do you have the papers?
Not yet.